Hargreaves, a chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays offside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benny. Sills.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Gull'S Eye View. What was a great football match turned into a pantomime, really,
Oh
or
no, it didn't.
GCSE level. Oh yes, it them did. Me and Chris were on the same level there.
Yeah,
Right,
you're
let's
welcome,
take some of
Tony.
that.
Well done.
So we're going to dissect. We've got a range of opinions as well between us, which is nice. So we're going to dissect whatever earth happened between Torquay and Maidstone. Obviously a 1-1 draw, 3 red cards. Where do we start? We'll start with Chris this week
Oh,
going into the game. Obviously, Maidstone, the two teams sort of setting up quite, from minute one. I thought it was a really good fixture. They were both going for it, weren't they?
they were. Yeah, I mean, I agree with what Paul said after the game. I mean, I thought the first half we played really well. There was
Yeah.
a bit of debate, wasn't there, on the day amongst us about that first half and how well we played. But I actually thought we played really well. We
I,
started really well. We moved the ball very well. I didn't think they could cope with our movement, and we were moving the ball around. But did we create lots? No. But we had a lot of situations, didn't we, where if a better pass, and there's been a bit of a theme at times at home where just that little bit more quality in the front third, and we could have scored. But I just thought the way we set about the game, because we've kind of held in a bit too much in those games, and quite a lot of home games we don't see much of the ball in that first 10, 15 minutes. I thought we started on the front foot, and actually we'd had kind of a couple of half chances, and then pretty much the first time they'd got out, we fell behind, which was the frustration. But even then, we kind of got back straight back on the front foot and started. Obviously we equalised within 7 or 8 minutes, I think. I thought we were just kind of we've called for us to be a bit more offensive and a bit more kind of forward minded in those first halves, and I thought we were on Saturday.
yeah, I think from minute one though, you could say as a bit of an edge. Did anyone else pick up that from kickoff, where the players charged Falston and winded him? Like there was always going to be a
Yeah.
bit of an edge from the start. But I think both teams went for it because obviously I feel like Edakobe and Watton, obviously they're both very good professional defenders in their footballing career and they set teams up well. But they weren't just like patient passing. I thought it was a proper fixture. Dare I say it? It felt a bit like a playoff game, and every Talkie fan said, "Oh God, we're going to have them in the playoffs, aren't we?" Um, but I really felt like it adds a good level of intensity, and I really enjoyed the first 40 minutes. Both teams look a threat in different ways. I think the thing with Torquay, we're moving to the second half ball, but at some point, but I think over the course of the game, there was felt like we were really on the cusp of about to hit our spell, and then something would happen. I felt like it was there, but when you look at it, Maidstone were the ones that were working the keeper more. We apart from that Dylan Morgan chance, which was a lovely move when Low Everton put him through, like the keeper didn't have loads to do. Let's talk about the goal then, Tommy. I'll leave you to do this one. Obviously, so a bit of a frustrating free kick. I was actually praising. I thought, I thought the midfield I was actually impressed with Worthington. I thought it took Hayfield some time to get into the game, but I actually liked what Hayfield did. But I think the one time Midfield got caught, Dyer concedes a free kick, and yeah, it was a class free kick, wasn't it, Tom?
Yeah, well, yes, it was a top quality goal, but I mean, the foul, the build up has come from Dyer having to take out his
Yeah.
man, and it was a rightful yellow card. One of the few decisions the referee actually got right, I think, in that game. But I digress. Yeah, the free kick from where I was. I mean, I was doing the tweeting on Saturday, and from what my viewpoint was, it looked like Hammy to me was a bit far over and was kind of inviting Maidstone, the free kick taker, to go for that top corner. It's one of those positions where it could either go into the box or you can have a shot at goal. And I think just from how I saw it at the time, and I still do now, I just felt like it opened up a bit too much for Maidstone to have a go there. And I mean, it's a great free kick. I don't think Hammy saves it regardless, to be honest. But just in that moment, I just thought he looks a bit too far over. And yeah, I mean, Hammy clarified afterwards very kindly. He obviously saw my comments afterwards, and we had a little discussion on Twitter. Very respectful between us, I thought. And from his viewpoint, he said if he stood any further left, you wouldn't have been able to see the ball through the wall from where he was. And apparently, the free kick taker has got a habit of going for the keeper's side So
and that is the worst place to get beaten from the keeper. It's like being beaten at your front post in a way.
and I respect that from James, and fair enough. And I mean, it does take nothing away from the finish. It is a class free kick, but I just felt in that moment we kind of left in the opportunity to do that. But that's just how I saw it, and a few others in the pop side around me did as well. But I'm happy to be in the
If you
minority
get
on
over the
that
wall
one.
from there and hit enough power, most likely it's going to go in. It's kind of
I,
that sort of
I
thing, isn't
think
it? You just don't concede a free kick in the first place.
I thought it was an interesting debate, and then when you see, I think your video from the site, from your view on the pop side, was actually probably the best view to have. I mean, I think I get what you're saying, and my instinct at the time was it hasn't gone in the top corner. If you think like some of the youngy ones that go like right in the apex of the cross and post and bar, you can't do anything about those, and it didn't go in the top corner. But I think the problem you've got is that, as you said, you've kind of almost got to cover three eventualities there, not two,
Yeah.
because they could have dinked it across the 6 yard line, or he could have gone either side. And I think for me, the reality is that is the wall side. He can't be everywhere,
Yeah.
and it's very much a modern thing. Like when I was a kid growing up, keepers didn't stand in the middle; they stood on their side. And if you went up and over and in, fine. Good luck to you, well done. But nowadays you kind of go in the middle, but you do see them kind of go across the face of the keeper. And I think, and as he said, that's what he was conscious of and trying to avoid. But I mean, I think for me, it's gone up. Once it's gone up and over and it's on target, you're in trouble. And whether he could get across, but the reality is he's not. It's the wall side. It's a good free kick. And I think,
I don't think so.
I don't think you can do anything.
And then, do you know what? I'm going to cause a bit of controversy here. Or maybe it's because I made a claim which aged horrendously on some radio. I actually thought, we're going to talk about the young first yellow card because that's in the first half. I actually thought the ref wasn't really a problem until the last 15, 20 minutes, because in fairness, I haven't seen a ref be like, every time Maidstone was the time wasting or the slowing the game now, and he went, I'm putting it on the time, which again aged terribly because we don't even know what added time it was from now. But I actually felt like I didn't really notice the ref much. I felt like the game flowed quite well. I was actually like, it all seems to be in kind of control. Now,
I thought he started the game quite proactively.
Yeah, I actually was singing his praises.
A lot of referees won't do it, and there's an argument about whether you should. But he decided he didn't want any holding in the box, didn't he? So after about 10 minutes, we've got a set piece, and he's blown up. He's warned them, and then ultimately he's given a free kick against
and I'm happy
us.
with that. I'm happy with that.
That was
because
okay.
refs do that all the time.
We'll obviously go on later to dissect the guy's decisions in fine detail. If you don't mind, I'll just go back to the equaliser very briefly. I think on balance, it's just a good free kick. But the thing that's not been mentioned here is that Riley Court, the scorer, is the first goal scorer in the league this year to be named after a nursing home. And I don't know whether anybody's picked that up.
That is fantastic. That's why people listen.
I'm not sure they will have, Clive, to be fair.
No.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, that's a good start.
Yeah.
That is outstanding.
Can I say before we move into the equaliser, that 5 minute spell after they scored, I mean, we saw in the FA Trophy how they got two quick goals and took the tie and the game away from us. I thought we had to really dig deep in those 5 minutes because they were coming at us, but we defended really well in that instance and then gave us that opportunity, because I think a previous Torquay side probably would have conceded and that would have been game over again, and then we'd all would have been saying, typical Maidstone, here we go again, curses and all that. But I thought we dug in, we responded quite well, soaked up the pressure after the goal, and then thankfully got back into the game.
I'm totally with you. I think I even said that, those 5-10 minutes were brilliant. And let's talk about that goal. It was a lovely move. And I think I just want to say, actually, even though it looks kind of simple for a professional footballer, that's such an intelligent finish by Dylan Morgan, because he's picked up, if he blasts it, it's going to hit a defender or it's going to be easy for the keeper. He's placed it right where none of the defenders or keeper can get it. It's so intelligent. He's made it look so easy. I always just, placed it in. But that's such an intelligent finish.
Yeah.
We saw him blast it in the fourth goal the week before. But this was so well placed. I mean, that is so intelligent.
It was a good goal, and I haven't got much else to say about it. But I thought there was only one winner of the game at half time. I thought obviously Cisse has been dismissed just before half time for violent conduct, and I really felt that we'd weathered any of the storm, and it was there for the taking second half.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about the red card then. Should we talk about the red card? So it was all a bit kind of weird in the moment. They've had a chance, and thank you, by the way. Tom has managed to, I don't know, done it. We've got permission by Maidstone to use their video. But as you'll be seeing it now, but there's been like a bit of a nothing thing. Something's obviously been said after, like he's gone up for a goal kick. And then it was just ridiculous. It just transcended into just GCSE drama, really. Like we've got, it was kind of like it's a kind of like Aldrea Lands and then Hammond, like the photo that Tom's got. Like it's made it look so like 15 times worse than it actually is. Like the still of it when like Hammond's going back like that. But obviously we believe it. They've appealed it, haven't they? Do any of you reckon they're going to win the appeal?
I think they're going to struggle. There's quite a long story to this because it started when Cisse got a little nudge in the box and he went down. Torquay will say, of course they'll say, he's gone down too easily. He's trying to get a penalty. Show me a player who gets nudged in the box without a clear goal scoring opportunity and doesn't go down. I mean, we're not talking Mother Teresa here. But anyway, he's gone down and he's lying momentarily face down on the goal line, more or less. And he's got a couple of Torquay players getting hold of him and clearly probably telling him what they thought of that last action. I felt as though there was one point where we were kind of maybe pushing his head down into the floor. People have talked about his dreadlocks being pulled. I can't see it closely enough to make a definite judgment.
Something's clearly happened. He won't go from that.
Something's absolutely happened, and he's got up and he's reacted gamely. I think might be one word to describe it. Violently might be another, and that's what the referee felt. Obviously, he's got a really good shove in both hands on Drea's chest. Drea has gone down then, of course, like he's been hit by Mike Tyson. As you would. Completely splayed out on the penalty area, just in case the referee hadn't seen it. Then, of course, Torquay react to that, and a couple of blokes have got hold of Cisse, and then somehow Cisse's right hand has made contact with Hammond's mush, hasn't it?
I don't know how he's managed it, to be honest.
Somebody said that Hammond pulled his fist.
Yeah, I generally thought that.
That's a neat manoeuvre. If you can pull that off, fair play to you.
Yeah, incredible.
I'll summarise. I feel as though he was probably provoked, but what he did is probably red card worthy. I'd be amazed if he gets off with that.
I think, I agree. Like, I wouldn't have given any of the red cards as a red, especially both of them. But there's no chance that in an appeal, I'd be surprised when they get letters of the law with either of them, as we'll talk with Dennis one in a bit, that they won't be able to say, well, no, it's got to be a massive mistake for it to be overturned, hasn't it?
Well, it depends what's in the referee's report, I suppose, as well. Because from how I understand it, also, I'll quickly say as well, I want to thank John from StonesTV, who's very kindly given us permission to use the video that Maidstone have put together. Fantastic quality and
their highlights package is brilliant.
And also really nice to meet Nigel Seeger as well, who's also part of the StonesTV lineup and has done some stuff for us with voice notes and stuff. And funny enough, we had a little get together in Boots and Laces, and the topic of conversation was, do you think the Sunny Blue Everton incident back in the away game, will we see a bit more reaction to that and physical? And of course, I'm like, no, I don't think so. I can't see Torquay United being mean enough.
We didn't have any FA Trophy, did we?
No, but I would be surprised if it does get overturned. However, from what I understand it, from what Nigel's told me, the red card has been given for an alleged punch. Now,
I think for me, Tommy, the difference between that and the Louis Dennis one, which we'll come on to, is he's raised his hand. Dennis hasn't raised his hand, whereas he has raised his hand. You can't raise your hand into someone's face in the way that he did. Now, I mean, is it a red card? If I did that to you, would you go down like that, holding it? No, of course you wouldn't.
Would you do that in a difference between in the street and a football pitch? If any of those instances happen, they wouldn't go down. But
no, but he's put his. I think what they look for is he's put his hand up, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's put his hand up and he's put it above anything above the throat and above. You're in trouble, aren't you? In terms of pushing upwards like that. So yeah, you do feel for him. It was all a bit dramatic, wasn't it? But You get
He's
why it's a red
reacted
card.
though. He's reacted to something that Dre has obviously said. I'm just having a look
Yeah.
back at it now. Dre has obviously got in his face and said something while he's lying on the floor, and he's reacted, and he has pushed over Drea. And I wonder if that's where, in
It's
theory, if
got
you
to be the
apply the
Hammond
letter
one,
of the
hasn't
law, the
it?
red card is from.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
also in the aftermath, he's grabbing hold
Dre's
of
got
Hammond
booked.
there, and he's grabbing
Dre's
hold
got
of
booked.
Hayfield there, and he's not letting go, and he's pulling him aside. So I mean, even
He's lost it,
you
and he.
can't do that. You can't do
But
that
what I
in
want to
today's
know
game.
is, sorry, what I want to know is, what has Dre got booked for as well? Has Dre got booked for something he said or done in between? Like, there must have been.
I'm
That's what I also want to know. That
I'm
will
not
go in
sure
the
that was him,
report.
Swanee. I don't know that
Was it
was him that
not?
got booked. No,
Was it not?
because it
Dre
come
got
up on the
booked.
scoreboard. Yeah, it came up
I
on the
thought Dre got
scoreboard.
booked.
But there, it was their captain that reacted because he was on and on and on and on at the ref straight after the red card, and he
I
just
thought it was a
they
Dre
were stood
booking
side by side. And
at
he's
the
put a yellow
time.
card. It looked to me from their blokes' reactions, he kind of went and kind of walked away when the card went. So I
Well, I
thought
think
it
he
was
wanted
their
Dreyer
captain.
off. You wanted
Yeah,
Well,
Dreyer
that's what it
off.
was.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah, I didn't look like, but I
I
quite
think
watched
Dre
Dre's.
got booked. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
yeah, he did.
his
He
reaction.
100% got booked. I didn't like how they were crowding round. Like, yes, it's a the referee's given the decision, and in today's game as well, where's this all about? Only the captains can speak with the referee. Anyone else that surrounds gets booked, and the referee has just let all the Maidstone players come round, and even well after the fact. And it was then where the game kind of just you could tell the
Yeah,
tone had been set after that, and
yeah, and
it
that was
was
a
always going to be
moment
one of
where the
those
game
games where we
it got
had
kind
to
of
take
battle.
advantage second half because any opportunity, any small foul that Maidstone could try and get from us would lead to them trying to get us down to 10 men as well.
I I have to say as well, and I don't mean this in an aggressive way, but I don't mind a bit of that actually because
Mm.
at the start of last season, I remember us talking a lot. I remember we were too nice, far too nice, and some of the tactics and some of the stuff. I mean, let's be clear here. I think our behaviour in that moment. There was a bit of winding up going on, but I think in general, you could see all of the Maidstone setup was to get in the referee's face every time there was a decision. If you look at they get in his face, it's telling him what to do, it's intimidate him, and I don't think we did that. But actually, this season we've been a bit more streetwise because I think at times I
Yeah,
have absolutely no doubt, and they would deny it, but I have no doubt that player reaction affects officials. There's no two ways about it for me. And getting in, and kind of, fighting, scrapping for your mate a bit, not literally. I don't have an issue with because I think we were too soft at times last season and just let stuff happen to us. And I think we've been
yeah.
a bit firmer on it this year.
I'm with you. I think as well that it's a case where at that point the game, as you're right, Tom, you're right. Like the game has then changed. That's the problem because how things are dealt with, the game's then changed. Because I knew that Maidstone were going to be smart. Like he sets his teams up so well. It wasn't going to change the game. It just meant Maidstone were going to have less attacking threat in terms of how they press forward because they're pressing like two or three at times.
Is it
But
smart though?
like
Is it smart or is it against the spirit of the game? You
smart.
don't need to get in the referee's face. You don't need to try and
No, I'm
intimidate
talking.
people.
I'm talking about like the shape outside of the game. Like I'm talking about like they were always going to like do well. Like I actually when the red card went, I didn't
Mm,
think. Oh yes, I went. Ah, it's just
I
going to ruin
know.
what the game
Broke
was
it all up.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's when as you said,
Yeah.
the tie kind of got set then. And in the second
Mm.
half, if you look at it as an objective, it's hard, but we just didn't create anything. I really thought we started to build up well and clumps of play, but like about 70th minute, I was like, oh, we're gonna get a winner here, and this place is gonna erupt. Play more. The fans were incredible, and the Maidstone spot was good as well, of course. But like the Torquay fans were incredible. I thought it really felt really powerful. It was like the team and the players together, and it was one of the best of this season. I thought, it's a proper fixture. I was loving it. But then it
Yeah.
all just became a bit of a faff. Now, is there anything before we go into the stoppage time that we want to talk about in the second half before I go into that?
uh, we just couldn't get anything going second half. I mean, what did we have? A free kick that was well saved from Jordan Young. Um,
Mm.
but that was really about it. What Paul Watton said after the game as well, just didn't get enough balls into the box. And even
Yeah,
after the red card, I wasn't. If it was any other team than Maidstone, then you'd think, okay, we're going to get something here. But Maidstone have got so many threats on the team as well. I mean, I'm trying to think.
great team.
Foul when you got Mo Fowl starting up front. I mean, we know. I thought we dealt with him quite
He's a
well.
monster, isn't he?
Yeah,
You wouldn't
I
mind
thought we
him, would
dealt with
you?
him quite well.
Oh
But
dear.
I was really impressed with their number 23. I think it's Hamzad Carbo. He's
Yeah. Should have scored
like
twice.
yeah, he had some great chances, but I thought he was more dangerous than Fowl was, to be fair, when he came on.
Yeah.
Tall, strong, physical. Maidstone, they've got some really good players and hard grafting players in there as well. And I think it showed in the second half that the second half chances. Can we argue that maybe Maidstone had the better? 11v11, I thought we were
It's
definitely
fair.
the better team and more likely to win it. At 11v10, I thought Maidstone probably had the better of it, really.
Yeah.
And at 9v10, I think we were lucky to hold on.
I don't know what you thought, Clive, from kind of where we were, kind of Bristol's bench side, but I think this is a general view. I think at times we overplay, and it's partly because of the way we've been setting up. You think LD's been playing as a number 9 for 3 months, pretty much, and of course, Paul was saying he's not a number 9, he's number 10. We don't want to play him as a number 9, but of course, he scored a bucket load of goals, so he's kind of stayed there. But the problem is, naturally, he does it. He does pull out. He does come to link the play and pick up the ball and move people into space, but there were several opportunities in the second half on that Thomas Young kind of Hayfield kind of right hand side triangle where we'd worked good space and there was men in the box to whip it in, and I just felt we overplayed. I was saying it to Dad and I were saying it watching it, and then Paul said you just got to get balls in the box. We just overplayed it too much, and but that said, it's only when Cook came on you could argue that there's any point in doing that because there's no point slinging balls in the box when you've got Morgan and Low Everton in there, is there? But as soon as Cody comes on, you can put balls in the box and have a bit of a scrap in the penalty area.
Yeah, they're a little bit damned if they do, damned if they don't, aren't they? Really, and
Yeah.
I actually thought they stayed quite patient. They tried to recycle the ball, and like that was quite good. But you win football matches by sticking it in the onion bag, don't
Yeah.
you? And
And they defended well,
it's
didn't they? They
frustrating.
did. They did defend well.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't really have many complaints at all with the Torquay United performance. I haven't actually none. The output of it was we didn't work the keeper enough, and that's it really. Especially in the second half. But I thought we tactically were astute, and I thought we were really clever. I thought it was a really good match between two good coaches and two
Yeah.
good teams at this level. I
But
don't walk away at all going, I just felt like we just didn't, we
yeah.
walked, give it. I thought we gave everything. We did as much as we kind of could in that day, but it just didn't quite happen.
But it's
it's a big
fascinating.
missed opportunity, though, isn't it? Let's
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's be real about it.
yeah,
We've played against 10 men for 45 minutes, and we've not been able to break them down. And there's reasons for that. They're no mugs, and I get all of that, but it's another 2 points dropped, and you know I I don't particularly believe in hoodoos either, but
no,
are we ever going to see a day when we beat Maidstone?
Mental
playoffs.
advantage.
Yes,
Mental
I expect
advantage if it
so.
does go to
Yeah,
playoffs.
yeah,
It's fascinating, though,
Then
isn't it?
again,
Just as a general view, though, because that general comment about football, it's amazing the amount of times 10 struggle to break down 11, isn't it? Because, Clive, you
yeah.
and I were at Tottenham, and Tommy, you were there, weren't you, as well? Okay, it was a sort of day where if we were playing now, we wouldn't have scored, but because we did everything but score in that game. But, we played against our 10 men for half an hour there and didn't break them down. And we've played against 10 men for 45 minutes there. And I mean, I guess everyone just has to work that bit harder to close down space, to be compact, to not give space. And I say Maidstone did do that well. And, I watched George Elokobi's interview afterwards, and that's what he said. He shut down the spaces. He knew where we were trying to play, and they tried to shut those areas down, and they did that very effectively. But it was a shame, actually, because I think if it had just petered out 1-1, we'd have said, okay, it's point to point. I get what you're saying, Clive, about 2 points drop, but they're a decent team and all the rest of it. But then what happened at the end just kind of left a real
Made it
nasty
feel like
taste
a
in it.
loss. Kind of,
Yeah,
so
it did.
but that's 2 times now. Totten and now Maidstone, where we've had an advantage for a while and not taken advantage of it. And we talk about look at last season where fine margins decided the title, and you don't want to be looking back come season's end and think, had we nicked something here or there, we've been in top spot or whatever. Look, I think Maidstone, I would have taken a point before kickoff. Absolutely, I know they've fallen down to I think 10th after that result,
Yeah.
but I would be amazed if they're not in the playoff picture come end of the season. And you can see why last season when because they finished 7th, didn't they? And they had to go away from home. And
Twice.
Nigel was telling
3
me
times.
after, Nigel was saying that he thinks Maidstone playing away is actually better in that scenario because the way they play and
You
teams
can
go at them and they can counter and they've got the threats. So
you can feel it
obviously it's a
coming,
team
Tommy,
you
can't
wouldn't
you?
want
You
to
can feel it
face.
coming.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to face them absolutely again. And we talk about the Maidstone curse, but then again, if you disregard the trophy for what it was, they haven't beaten us in the league this season either. It's been 2 draws, so you could say that's an improvement on our side perhaps. But yeah, you just get the feeling it's not going to be the last time we play each other, and I just hope it's going to be like a Stevenage scenario where we had the better hand over Stevenage for years and years, and then they beat us in the final to get into League One. Seems
Are
like such a long
are
time
we
ago.
happy we're giving them credit for decent away support? Really?
The ones that were
Yeah, I
there were
think
good.
so.
Yeah.
It's a long way.
They made some noise. They brought a drum, but there's still only, was it 120 of them or something?
Yeah, it's a long way, though, isn't it?
115.
Good. That isn't good away support.
It is at this level, though, isn't it? What do they get at home? Hang on, I'll tell you.
2,000.
Oh yeah, okay. That fell on its backside that point, didn't it?
It did a bit. It did a bit.
2,135
I think-
actually. Yeah.
I
okay.
I think 200's a reasonable threshold
Yeah.
to start talking about good away
10%.
support.
Yeah. Take your point.
They nearly filled their block, didn't they? So I'll give them that. Anything above 3 figures this season is fantastic. I mean, it beats 19 that we had the week before. Let's be frank.
No, we need to set higher standards, Tommy. Come on, mate.
Maybe next season. Hopefully, we'll see some bigger crowds. But yeah, as far as Maidstone go, I think they're definitely the teams that you probably would want to avoid. But again, that's more reason for us to try and win it. Worthing drew with Horsham, didn't they, on Saturday? And then someone else, Western, lost, did they? Or I think something like that. So we've missed an opportunity to close the gap a little bit. Fine margins.
Right. Do we have to discuss the end then or not? Should we just
So the red cards. Okay, so it all goes a bit crazy, doesn't it? Again, thank you, Maidstone, for letting us have the footage. I just find it ridiculous. We had a throw in, and we've ended up getting a red card from it. I appreciate that. Right. Where do we start? I'm going to start with Chris. You start with your viewpoint on the Dennis incident.
Yeah, I mean, this is the beauty of football, isn't it? I mean, at the time, as it happened, you just thought, get up. What's he got up for? And the funny part about it was, because of course, as they had with everything, their players tried to make a big issue of it and all the rest of it. And, so kind of, the referee, brought Dennis out and he came out and they were having a chat. And I was kind of, Dennis sort of, patted him on the back as they were just chatting. And they were kind of just like, and it all looked quite amicable, as if said the referee, all right, just come out.
Yellow cards.
Leave them to it, look, pack it in, yellow card, let's just crack on with it. And it was a full 30, 40 seconds. And all of a sudden, he goes to his left pocket, which was the red card pocket. I mean, for me, it doesn't fall into the categories of, it's not violent conduct. That is what happened wasn't violent. The bloke kind of got in his way, he pushed him. He's ended up kind of under his arm, but he hasn't kind of squeezed his arm and he hasn't done that. He hasn't elbowed him. He hasn't swung an arm at him. He's just kind of dropped him. Get off. What are you doing? And it's not violent conduct. Do I see why the ref sent him off? Yes, I do. Did we give him a chance to even it up? Which, let's be honest, they do. They would deny it, but they do. Yes, we did give him a chance to even it up. But, I mean, as soon as he walked down the tunnel, I said to Dad, well, you'll appeal that, because that's never a red card. And that's ultimately what's happened. We don't know what the outcome of that is yet. But, I mean, under the violent conduct, 3-match ban for that, nowhere close for me.
But why do it? That would be my argument. Like if the shoe was on the other foot and we had a Maidstone player doing that to one of our players, we'd be saying that he should be sent off for that. You can't. I just don't understand why. I mean, it's Gilbert, isn't it? So our good friend Gilbert was the one instigator, wasn't he? But the referee has dictated, and we've seen already how he's going to play the game, and literally every little thing he was going to pick up and book.
He was consistent on it. It's
just a silly thing in my mind. I didn't really see it from the pop side. I just keep looking back and I just think, why do it, Louis? Why do it? You're just giving the referee the opportunity to send you off, and he will be a big miss if we can't get that overturned. Is there intent? No, of course there's no intent in it, but it's not violent. It's a silly thing to do, Chris, in that scenario.
I'm not saying it's not, but it's not violent. That is not violent.
The question that you need to answer in your own mind is: has Louis Dennis used excessive force?
No.
That is the definition of violent conduct. And I'm bound to say, I think there's quite a strong case that he did. Clearly, I would have preferred him to get away with a booking. Clearly, sometimes you do get away with a booking for that. But when he and Gilbert came together, from what I've seen, I don't think he did shrug him off. I think he did. Whether it was his intention at the start, I don't know. But he's ended up with Gilbert's head under the crook of his arm, So he has effectively got him around the neck. Talk of a chokehold is nonsense. I think that was being bandied around, perhaps by the referee on Saturday night. But what Louis done in a very efficient way, as befits, maybe a judo player or something like that, in one smooth movement, he spun around quite quickly and he's dropped him to the deck. I think you are definitely giving the referee a decision to make there. I think the referee, if you look at the highlights, I'm pretty sure he's got the earpiece to his left ear and he's having a conversation with either lino or fourth official as well. And between them, they've decided that it hit the criteria for a red card. They were closer to it than any of us were, and they were in the thick of it. And we might disagree with the decision, but I can see why it was made, I've got to say.
I can, but that's where the appeal process comes in. I was interested to read that Torquay said, didn't they, that they've said that they've consulted a lot of local referees on it before appealing. Now you would hope they wouldn't all go, yeah, appeal that. That's not a red card because they're Devon Bays or whatever, and you'd hope they'd give an objective view on it. So it looks like we've done some due diligence, kind of from a legislative perspective. Before we've submitted an appeal, but because you run the risk of that kind of frivolous appeal, given an extra game, which I've never agreed with, because if you have an appeal process and people choose to use it, then you've got to hear what they ask for. Just to punish them for appealing seems a bit odd. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, I either way, I mean, I think if it's not rescinded, then for me it's the wrong decision. But like I said, I do get that gave the referee a decision to make. But equally, if you look at the footage, the way he goes down is not the way that Dennis has got hold of him. He goes down holding his face like he's hit him in the face, and he has, as you said there, he's literally just turned him and then kind of released his arm, and he goes down, like that, like he's just hit him in the nose, which isn't what happened.
I mean, he might have caught a fingernail. Who knows, really? Who knows? From the club's point of view, I thought it was 500 quid to appeal.
I thought it was. Yeah.
Even that wouldn't be a king's ransom, but apparently 150 quid. So if you're pretty sure that the punishment's not going to be increased,
yeah, it's worth it.
Then 150 quid for a chance of getting your leading goal scorer back for 3 games. It's a no-brainer from the club's point of view. And we'll just have to wait to see what the FA says.
Yeah,
and then it got worse.
My opinion on that, Dennis, one is that it shouldn't have been a red, it should have been a yellow. Like, that was just stupid, both players or Dennis, whatever. But I also fear that when they look at their one, they're going to look at the guidelines and go, well, actually, that counts as excessive force. That's my fear. Does that make sense?
It does. I do think either of them, they'll both get off, or neither will. I can't see.
Neither of them should be red, I don't think. But I
don't think so. No.
But it's just like they're both blown out of proportion. But it depends what you measure these things on. Do you measure it with the intent or the actual force? Does that make sense? If you're just going like that and someone goes over, does that all of a sudden a red card? If you swing at someone, then yeah. But if you're just going, you'd
have to assume that it's done against the rules. You would hope, but then again,
in a penalty box, how many times does that kind of happen? Four corner, it'd be like, just get off, something like that, or a foul on the halfway line. So, a better example: 2 players going for the ball, they go for it, and then they just get in a bit of a tangle, and it's I'll get off kind of thing, and they probably have an arm around a bit like that. That's just a foul and a stop it, or maybe a yellow card. So I don't. But there we go.
I just don't understand how Louis Dennis would feel having someone in that position was going to result in him getting nothing from that. I just don't see why you need to do it. I mean, obviously, there's been a lot said on the pitch by it's been a very intense game of football, highly charged, but I expect a little bit better from Dennis and also Youngie, which we'll get to in a minute. But you just don't need it. We've just entered the last minute of injury time. And to be fair, the frustration is we haven't scored. We haven't scored with the man advantage. Well, there's an easy way to rectify that is find a way to score. Don't be frustrated that you haven't been able to break them down, and don't give them a reason to level the playing field.
Yeah, I think that's true. But equally, I think you have to consider it's all well and good sitting here, talking about it now. But at the time, The players are full of adrenaline, they're full of emotion, they're full of, So I mean, now if you asked, if he was on here right now, he'd probably go, "Why did I do that? Why did I think that touching him was the thing to do because it gave the referee a decision to make?" He'd probably know that now, but at the time they were desperate to score. He wanted to get the ball. He pushed the ball away so he couldn't get it, and he's kind of gone to what? And he's just reacted, hasn't he? I mean, he has.
I reckon.
But not
I reckon the fourth official is. I reckon the fourth official has made the decision there.
He was making trouble all second half. The fourth official.
I mean, I wouldn't trust the linos either way. I mean, the number of times the linos would flag for a throw in one way and the referee would overturn them without no, like they were just useless in my eyes. I would be surprised if it was overturned. But then again, I just think 3 games without Dennis is a huge loss, and if it's only 150 quid, I mean, you only have to sell 6-7 extra seats in Bristow's, and then you've paid the fine yourself. So, I've
thought this for a long time. This goes back to you'll probably remember this. I remember Ryan Bowman getting sent off very early in the season for an army type
0-0 Southport at home.
Yeah, and
Probably
I remember
had a tenner on it, didn't he?
Yeah. But I remember thinking, I had a massive conversation at the time with my dad. I mean, I remember, and it's very difficult to do that. Actually, that 3-game ban, kind of 1 game for 2 yellows or a kind of a non-violent thing, and then 3 games. There almost needs to be 2 tiers for violence, because if Dennis gets a 3-game ban for that, you could jump in with 2 feet and break someone's leg and get a 3-game ban. You could elbow somebody and fracture their eye socket.
I think we should make the game even more complicated, don't you?
No, but what I'm saying is that there should be 2 brackets of violent conduct. Severe foul play or violent conduct is dangerous.
What the Preston player did.
If you do that, Chris, we'll be in 2 years' time. We'll be sitting here on a Tuesday night debating whether that should have been a 2-game or a 4-game ban.
Well, no, I'd say 1 or 3. Because violent conduct red card is 3, but there has to be a less violent version of that. That is not violent, is it?
Murder 2.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's maybe a different conversation.
Look at what the Preston player did last night. The one who's been done for biting out. He's literally gone in, bang.
The one just back from an 8-game ban.
Well, they'll do him several more games, won't they? Because of his record, I'm sure. I'm sure that'll happen.
But that's what Preston podcast.
Dave Caldwell got 6, didn't he, at one point? Because he kept getting sent off, and they threw the book at him in the end.
And Josh Labadie got plenty as well, didn't he?
Yeah. Right. And then just after that, goal kick, been a corner, and then Young has reacted. The referee has gone, "Don't do that, I'm booking you."
Yeah.
And then he's looked at his card.
God.
No, I've had him on a yellow. Oh, I've got to send you off now. What have I done, basically, from my view?
Yeah.
So the first argument, we're talking debate, I'll let you dissect it. I'm being very neutral on the fence, I'm not actually getting involved.
It's very good.
Was it worth a yellow card?
Yes.
Second of all, does the ref, in your opinions, reckon the ref would have given him a yellow if he had known that he was already on a yellow?
Yes, I do.
I don't think you've got. I having watched it back, I don't. There's no choice. The first one's never a yellow card. It's worth pointing out. But the second one, it has to be a yellow card because he's kind of jumped and hopped and kind of thrown an arm in anger. You can't. Whether he would have done had he realised, may be a different question because he has. You can almost see the moment where he goes. Because of course, obviously their players are straight in his face, but you can see the moment where he goes, "Oh God." Can
I ask a question about the general rule? Can I ask a general question? If a player goes up and goes, "What the F are you on about, ref? You effing." Yeah, I get it, probably. I mean, that's more red. If a player gets angry at themselves or his teammate and just jumps in the air at a high stress moment and goes, "What the hell?" Something like that shows anger. What is actually wrong with it? Can someone tell me, what is actually really wrong by the rules? What Jordan Young has done there?
Jordan Young's, I'm sure Jordan Young's offence was dissent.
Yes,
and so that is showing, in a bad way, disagreement with the referee's decision. I mean, if somebody just shakes their head. I think you are dissenting from the decision, but I don't think that's what it really means.
Or sarcastically clapping it like Grealish did.
Well, that you could certainly get done for that, couldn't you? I think if someone's getting wound up with himself or maybe with teammates, it depends how far they go with it, but that's not dissent against the referee's decision. So what's happened in this case is clearly referee and linesman have committed a massive howler because the Maidstone defender got a clear head on it and it was a corner. And Jordan Young's reaction was human and understandable, but I'm sure he'd tell you if he was sat here now, I wish I hadn't done that. And that's what footballers should be capable of doing. They should be capable of self-regulating themselves, because you get yourself sent off in that situation, you knacker yourself, you knacker your team, don't you? And it is the clearest case of dissent you've ever seen. He's jumped off the ground, he's thrown his arms out wide. I would imagine stuff's come out of his mouth that he wouldn't want to say to his grandmother, although I don't know that. And it's an instant decision. Could the referee give himself a bit more thinking time? Yes. Could he have ignored what had happened? He could have done, but he was never going to. And he hasn't. I'm afraid he's not got a leg to stand on.
It's classic cause and effect, isn't it? It's classic cause and effect, because if the officials have got the decision right, the whole thing doesn't happen, because we've got a corner, Sam Dreher heads it in, we win 2-1, and it's marvellous. But it's classic cause and effect because they didn't get the decision right. They didn't. The decision was wrong. And again, the other thing, to go back to the emotional situation, we were all there. You could feel it in the stadium. You could feel the emotion and the frustration and the anger. And I hadn't realised, so we watched it back then. It was literally 10 seconds later. The ball came back in, the cross came in, headed out. So it was full of emotion. Young will feel the in his mind, the frustration and the incorrect decision that's just happened, and he's just full of it, and it's just come out, hasn't it? But yeah, I mean, the first one is not a yellow card. It's two people going for the ball. But once you've been booked, you can't do that.
Yeah. He's paid for that first half.
I mean, the referee might have not known he was on a yellow card, but he thought he did. I mean, Jordan Young would have known.
Yeah. And you've just seen your teammate get sent off, maybe somewhat controversially. You've got to just stay level-headed in that moment and just think about the greater good for the team. You know, God knows, we had no idea how much injury time there was, and we still don't to this day. And it's the reaction. You can't do that. You cannot do that. And he has mouthed off at the lino and said something, and it's a clear second yellow for dissent, as we've said, and it could have cost us a point. Really could have done.
It costs us one of our very best footballers for Enfield.
Yeah, although, yeah, we'll see.
We will see, because he won't be playing, will he?
Yeah. Well, wait, he plays the next one, doesn't he?
I mean, were you going
to say we'll piss all over Enfield anyway? Was that why you were?
I was going to say, we're playing a team in the bottom four, so I'd like to think without Dennis and Young, we should be able.
The squad's good enough.
The squad should be. We should have enough in the squad. We'll get to that later as well.
Screenshot this moment.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. But again, it's just a head loss moment, a complete head loss moment, and it could have cost us a point. And I would have put the blame on him, I'm afraid, had we lost that game, because you've just got, the referee has been crap all from the majority of the game. You've just got to stay level-headed. I'm sorry, Jordan.
I don't think he was actually. I don't think he was. He just lost it in the key moments. The ref. I think it's consistent.
I think I agree with this one. I agree with you. His general decision making, I thought, was okay.
Yeah,
but it's just the big decisions he just got wrong.
He's just got to enter, and the linesman helps him out either between the pair of them on the one.
But again, you just can't react that way. I'm sorry, you can't. We all have stressful moments in our lives and in our jobs that we do, but you've got to stay level-headed in that moment. And maybe having a game off actually will be a good thing for Jordan, because I don't think he's been quite himself in recent games. He had a really good game against Western, and I thought he actually did pretty well in the first half against Maidstone. Like that right-hand side,
he scored a banger
finding avenues with Jordan Young. That looked like the threat we were going to go for. Yeah, but I just think maybe there is
he was great against Hampton. He was great at Hampton. And your best players isn't going to be amazing for 46 games in the season, you know. Like,
and you've got to try and And you've got to try and take some positives out of these situations if we do end up where we are. I mean, Dennis has been good fitness wise recently, but we've got a million games coming up between now and the end of February, haven't we? So you wouldn't want to miss him for 3 games. You wouldn't want to miss Young at Enfield. But the reality is, if we do, we do. And Young gets a weekend off at home with his family. Dennis will get a bit of time off, keep his fitness up. And because there's so many games, it'll only be, what, 10 days? Won't it? And then he'll be back again. He'll be back.
Unfortunately, we mustn't forget, obviously, that before this, we lost Callum Dolan for the rest of the season, which is such a huge blow. Obviously, I know it's like over a week ago now it happened when we're recording this, but like, a player with a lot of talent, we all know what's happened and gone on. And as I think, Clive, you said it, or someone said it, you feel more, either like more sorry for the person himself. It's he's now out for the rest of the season. And that's another player we've lost in like the creative midfield role. And then obviously we've lost Young and Dennis. So now's the time for Kieran Wilson. It was used in right back with like the tactical reshuffles after this, was it a sending off or something like that? But now's the time for like a Callum Wilson to get some game time, I guess. I'm saying Callum, it's Kieran.
As I say, are we signed a Premier League striker?
Just going back to Callum Dolan. I mean, all of us, Callum, we're wishing you well.
Yeah.
Come back soon. I think there's plans for players to be doing a bit more in the community in the rest of the season, visits to primary schools and stuff like that. And I think it could be a good opportunity. Never waste a crisis sort of thing. Might be another string to their bows as they go forward. If they're thinking about coaching or other roles. So, yeah. We're really sorry, Callum. We're missing you, and come back soon, mate. Really.
Yeah, no, it's gutting. And good luck on the recovery as well. For all of us at Talky Talk. But yeah, in that sort of department, it's gone from having an influx of quality to at least short term. We're a little bit. They've not got much in there.
Funny, on that recovery, I was chatting to, obviously in the car going to the game with my children, and I was saying it because obviously we welcomed Nash Deary back into the match day squad for the first time since August, didn't we? And I was saying and I think players are injured, they're out injured, then they reappear again, don't they? But as a supporter, I was saying to the boys going, you don't really, you kind of don't realise to the naked eye, and Nash would tell you if he was here, the hours that go into rehab, especially when you've had an injury like that. He'll have been in a swimming pool for hours and hours, on a bike, on a treadmill, on a stepper, building it all up. And you think the hours he's put in, yes, it's his job, and yes, all the rest of it, but the hours that go into that, these players deserve everything they get when they come back, because same for Callum, because that is a significant injury, and the rehab that will go into that is significant. So, great to see Nash back. Hopefully we'll see him on the pitch sooner rather than later. But yeah, it's a massive undertaking to get yourself back from such a serious injury.
You're totally right, Chris. It's not just a case of just rest up for like 3 months and it'll heal, is it? One thing's getting it into, like we do, walk to our cars and we walk into work. But another thing to play it, an exercise and then play it at a professional level, get that ready is pretty.
Yeah. Especially hamstrings as well, because broken bones heal and then it feels normal again. But that first time he runs on the pitch and that first sprint he puts in, you wouldn't be human if you weren't thinking, oh, is it going to go again? Is it going to go again? And the reality is, it's these things happen and they heal and you're all fine again. But yeah, it's a massive thing for them, isn't it?
I mean, Matt Worthington took a blow around about the jaw, didn't he, early in the first half on Saturday?
From Mayfield,
sort of sharp intake of breath there, wasn't there? Really, luckily, happily, he seems to have come through that. So actually, that'll probably be good for him, because I think the first time you've been injured, the first time you take a whack in that area, it's a bit of a moment sometimes.
Can I also say, I'm not going to say he's an easy person to criticise at the moment, but I actually thought Worthington put a really good performance in. And that cross he put in as well, 1-1 when he moved to right back, which I'm fully behind by the way, with the restructure, because Paul Watton went for it. For Cody Kirk, they're so unlucky not to get anyone on the end of that. And the other big thing to say is, how on earth, I know one of them was offside, or I think the main one was offside, but how on earth did Maidstone not win it at the end in the 98th minute?
Yeah.
Amazing. They were the better team in the end, weren't they?
But they haven't scored a lot of goals this season. If you look at the table, I think they've only scored 38. I'd have to double check that, but they don't score many. They don't concede many, but they certainly don't score many either.
And I'd also like to say a big well done to Jay Falston, because he stopped that goal going in at the end. It was very last ditch defending. But it was just a mad
Yeah.
game where you've gone from having a man advantage to having like two player, one disadvantage, So it was an interesting game. I was just a bit gutted as a overall because I was really enjoying watching and summarizing a very good game of
There it
football,
is.
a
There it
big
is.
battle. That's
The old
good.
radio comments in there. There it is.
I was really enjoying it, and then it just became a farce.
Hmm.
So, yeah, anything else to add?
I'll just say that I felt for you when you had to give your sort of 2 minute summary at the end. What was your first word? Ridiculous, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was a
I usually am like, oh, I just know, I flow into it. But also, you get at clubs, they're doing like Exeter and Plymouth games, which all run late, and our game ran late. So you sat there, and I'm like, I have no idea how I'm going to summarize this. I don't even know. I was still obviously the Torquay fan of me was fuming after everything that had happened, and then I'm sat there. I think I usually am a man of many words. I can usually interrupt everyone in the country if I can, by accident. But like enthusiastically I put, but like I just sat there, I have no idea how I'm going to sum this up like professionally. So on here, I've got like 4 days and like all the things have calmed down. And if I go a bit wrong, I can edit out. But on that, I was just like, I just have no idea. I'm calling this episode pantomime football because it actually was. So
It's quite
yeah,
lonely that bit, Sam, isn't it? You sat there
yeah,
and it has all gone away, and the ground
it's
normally is
beautiful in a
empty
way.
by then as well, isn't it?
It's just a
And you're
students doing
like
their
Yeah.
checks go
you're
past.
waiting, you're
Yeah,
waiting for James Vickery to come on and ask you questions. I must admit, I tend to scribble stuff. I just try and get a couple of things down on paper in front of me,
yeah.
just so I don't totally dry up.
Sorry,
I
Tommy.
I'm
Does anyone care? I,
No,
I
I
didn't.
get a
I
room,
didn't
you
realize I
two.
needed.
For
Where's my
goodness
violin? Hang on.
sake.
It's here somewhere.
So, if I'm
Here
honest,
somewhere.
Clive,
No,
Trying
I
to
can't
give
find
people an
it.
insight, Chris. That's
Yeah.
all
I
it
won't
is.
rub it
Oh
into
right.
it. Anyway,
Sorry.
Yeah.
but
Sorry.
when I
Yeah.
interviewed Paul Merson for the club, right, then I didn't have any notes. I had two, which sadly was never shown in full. But I had three questions, and they went within 30 seconds. And then I was all like for half an hour, I think we were talking to us half an hour, it was all here. It was all thinking. And that is scary. But luckily I've got a very
Mhm.
fast-paced mind which stops me getting sleep, but it's good in this thing. So it was all right. But yeah,
My
no,
yeah,
I
my
just don't
my
know.
my final bit would be Maidstone, a point ain't bad against them. They've unbeaten in their last five before they came to us. So on that, I think that's a good point. I know they've only scored 32 goals this season, actually, so less than I thought. And also, they could have a real say in where the title's going this season because before their last game against Bath away, they have to play Hornchurch at home, Horsham away, and Worthing at home. Worthing at home is their penultimate game of the season, so
I get on the league. Is that what you're saying?
we are.
All right. So I think we've said this so many times over the last couple of years. If we go on a winning run within the next two or three, this will be a very crucial point. At the end of the season, we could be like that point was crucial. However, my fear is there's too many of these games we don't turn into victories, and that will stop us winning the league. But we'll see. Have you done a Caddy's Corner? I think we have, haven't we?
We have. We have
Right, should we do
indeed.
Caddy's Corner there? That's smooth. I know what I'm doing.
Well done, Swanee. Well done, Swanee.
Cheers.
So for this week, we have asked you for the amount of points we're going to get from Enfield away, Farnborough at home, and Hornchurch away, which thankfully will be on the last day in January because they fluffed it in the trophy yesterday. So no Tuesday night trips to watch the Urchins. So thank you to everyone who wrote in this week. A couple on Facebook and Twitter. So I'll start with Curtis Cox, who says, I think Torquay will get 9 points. Come on, you yellows. Ian Tyson says 4 points. One at Enfield, three against Farnborough, and nothing at Hornchurch. EDID says 6 points. I think we will win against Enfield and Farnborough, but Hornchurch will unfortunately beat us on that pitch. Craig Hughes says, I can't see any reason why we can't pick up at least 7 points. That's a win against Enfield and Farnborough and a draw at High Flyers Hornchurch. We don't want any more repeats of crazy red cards in any of these games. Matt says anything less than 7 points is a failure in his opinion. It's the business end of the season now, so it's time to switch gears and put a proper run together. Paul Mahern says we need to find a way to win at Enfield and should be beating Farnborough at home. Easier said than done, though. A draw at Hornchurch would make it a very acceptable 7 points from those games. I think that's more than achievable. Off the Line blog says 6 points. Ollie says 6 points with a defeat at Hornchurch. And Disco Barry says, so the Stones game was a complete farce. We should be used to the tactics they used. Hopefully we could get 9 points from the next 3. Cook and Wilson come in for Dennis and Young to keep the pressure on. Thank you, everyone who has contributed this week. Yeah, the way I look at it, I think it's without question that we have to beat Enfield and Farnborough. And I think a point at Hornchurch would be good. But then again, they're not in the best form at the moment either. So I think we've definitely got it in us to get 9 from 9. But it's the next 2 will be quite definitive, in my opinion. We need to be getting 6 points against relegation threatened Enfield and Farnborough.
I think as a wider context, Saturday's an example of it. We have to learn how to and work out how to beat sides in a low block because we haven't done it. You look at Tottenham, you look at Bath. Bath just sat in, wasted time. It took as long as they could over everything and tried to get a 0-0. And we've got to find ways to stop that from happening. We haven't scored at Bath. We haven't scored at Tottenham. So we've got to find a way. And we've got the players that are good enough. And I think an awful lot of that is that the longer it goes on, the harder it gets. So those first halves are key. And as Paul said after the game, we've got to stop losing the first goal. As soon as you lose the first goal, you've got to score 2 to win the game, haven't you? That's basic maths for you there. But we've got to find a way to and actually I'll
be ruthless at the start.
Yeah, the way we move, it's about moving the ball. It's about it's about finding space. It's about working out how we're going to do it, and that has to start on Saturday because these next 2 games, if we're going to win the league, we have to have 6 points from these next 2 games. It's that simple for me. 7 points, I take that. Hornchurch aren't in great form, so no reason why we can't win there. But you've got to win the next 2 even before you think about that. Really,
Totally with you. Totally with you.
Can I
do our
just,
predictions?
Can I just interject? Can I just mention the oldest cliche in the book?
Yeah.
Nobody plays 3 games at a time. You play 1 game at a time, don't you? So all that the players need to be thinking about is how do we get a result at Enfield, and then they'll get on the bus. Sorry, I could be daft about it, but we. For the sake of something to talk about on here, we often break seasons into little blocks, don't we? And it's always intriguing to see what happens. But what you're not factoring in there is what's happening in other games as well. And I just think there's probably a reason why 1 game at a time is sort of stood the test, really, I think.
Yeah. The question was about 3 games, though, I think was our point. Both.
I was wondering whether the premise was right, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah. But we're going to win on Saturday, Clive. You're going to have a lovely day out.
I do hope so, mate.
We're going to win 3-1.
And what's the score of the next one going to be, Chris?
Oh, crikey, yes. Oh, hang on. 4-0.
So Farnborough. So Farnborough, yeah?
4-0. Farnborough 4-0. 3-1, 4-0. 7 goals,
right, okay.
6 points. Lovely job. Come back to me next week. I won't be in next week, but whatever.
Yeah, 1-0 win at Enfield and then a 2-1 win at home to Farnborough. Tommy?
Well, this is where I was saying earlier, Jordan Young, no Jordan Young, no Dennis, no problem. I think it will be 2-1 to Torquay. I think we'll just find a way. And Farnborough, I mean, they're in absolute freefall at the moment. It should be 4 or 5, in my opinion. But I will go 3-0.
They are in freefall, aren't they? No parachute payments at this level, obviously. I'll go with a 1-0 on Saturday. Thank you very much. Clean sheet. And to be consistent, I will say 3-0 Tuesday.
Yeah, and actually on Farnborough, we were at Farnborough, weren't we, Clive? And actually, that first half, we could have scored about 8. They were defensively so poor. And at our place, Tuesday night, long journey, all the rest of it. We've just got to get at it, haven't we? Get at them, get into them early, hopefully score early, their heads drop, and we can enjoy a nice evening with a burger.
Their keeper that night was man of the match, and they've fallen out, haven't they?
Yeah,
so I don't
he's
think
going,
he's
isn't he?
Play. Yeah, I don't think he's going to play.
Yeah.
And I believe that their second choice keeper might have got injured as well. So it could be a good opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. Come back with 6 points next week.
I think we've talked for almost an hour.
Could be a 2-parter, Swanee.
No. No, it's long algorithms these days.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm not
Can
doing
I
that.
mention Sunday before we
Of
disappear
course
again?
we can.
And the women are confirmed as going to be playing at Coach Road on Sunday. A home game against strugglers Saltash. 2 p.m. kickoff. Probably a fiver to get in. A nice way to spend an afternoon, really.
And if you want a less nice way to spend the afternoon, you can go up to, I believe, South Devon College around 3 o'clock and watch Shippey Wanderers versus Crystal Palace. There we go. Free entry.
I have to say, both of those games are probably the only chance you've got of playing any football in Devon this weekend with the way the weather's been. I'm not sure my youth football's going to be on this weekend, but you never know.
So you want to see an under pressure Scaffer first game in a while? Can we bounce back from a 5-1 defeat? We had a lack of players that day. You know, chairman
Get
needs
those excuses in.
Hasn't got deep
Oh,
enough.
you kept that one quiet, Swanee. I didn't know about that.
No, yeah. Funny he's not mentioned that club, has he?
Yeah, I don't mention that one. But we don't mention that actually my tactical gamble to send everyone forwards at 2-1 didn't go well.
No.
The last two games, the last two games we were losing and I sent everyone forward and we won both. So you win some, you lose some.
Well done, Swanee Johnson. Well done.
I'll tell you what, if you look around the room here, we've got Chris is taking steps in junior football, isn't he, with Starcross Dons. Swanee, Shippey Wanderers. I've never managed a football team, I never will, but my son is having a shocker.
Chaos.
My son's having an absolute shocker.
It's still going badly.
With school football. His year sevens are
come on, Matty.
Not up to scratch. I can exclusively reveal as well. I might have to say that again. I can exclusively reveal as well that Matty missed the diving header from point blank range in training this week as well. So it's not going very well. Tom, I think you just need to stay out of it, mate. It's a mug game. Football.
I just need to stop annoying Torquay players on social media. That's what I've got to do.
You do. So consequences, mate. I just won the League and FA Cup double with Bury in like my 14th season before we came on here. So, you know, it's all going well. But yeah, big fixtures this weekend. Super Sundays. But I would recommend going to a Torquay United women's game by quite a long distance, to be honest with you. Anyway, on that note, thank you so much if you've made it this far. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already.
You sound like these people on these YouTube clips that my kids watch. Like and subscribe.
Because we need 1,000 subscribers. And if you've already done it, it takes 5 minutes to make a Gmail account to go and do it again.
Don't watch John Sinclair. Get your ass over here and watch us.
Yeah, come on. Yes, exactly.
We used to get
my
John Sinclair
down the corner going,
I
like and subscribe.
I love John Sinclair. What a man. He needs to come back to every game because we would have
does.
If we get to the playoffs, I am paying for John Sinclair to come down and all his amazing vlogs and hopefully, you know.
Lads, make sure we all at him when this video goes online.
Yeah.
It's what he's playing.
Right. So we get out the budget that we will have when we hit 1,000 subscribers.
Yes.
Right. So thank you for watching and we'll see you all next week.
Happy birthday, Mum.
We'll be out tomorrow.
Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells.